Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 15th of February. Indian Prime Minister Modi launches key projects and addresses public in northeastern India. Pakistan still not cracking down on militants, says US intelligence chief. And KP Sharma Oli becomes Nepal's Prime Minister for second time. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday launched several key projects in northeastern Arunachal Pradesh province. He also addressed an election rally in poll-bound northeastern Tripura province, where his ruling Bharatiya Janata Party is looking to unseat the current left government.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched several projects in northeastern Arunachal Pradesh province on Thursday. He inaugurated a state convention centre, the civil secretariat building, and laid the foundation stone of the academic block of a medical institute in Itanagar city. During his address, he laid emphasis on good governance for the rapid development of the poor and the underprivileged. He also highlighted his government's new healthcare program that would cover over 100 million poor families.
बीमारी की स्थिति में हर वर्ष परिवार का कोई भी सदस्य बीमार हो जाए, ऑपरेशन करने की जरूरत पड़े, उसकी चिंता हो। तो ये काम आज भारत सरकार ने बड़े मिशन मोड में उठाया।
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi also addressed public rallies in poll-bound northeastern Tripura province, where the BJP is looking to unseat the current left government. He highlighted his ruling Bharatiya Janata Party's achievements and lashed out at opposition parties for looting the common people with their policies. The assembly elections in the province are slated to begin from February 18.
In news from Pakistan, US Director of National Intelligence or DNI, Dan Coats, has said Pakistan is holding back on cooperation with the US while failing to take tougher action against militant groups. His remarks come amid Pakistan's ongoing strains in its ties with the US over its failure to tackle militancy.
US Director of National Intelligence or DNI, Dan Coats, has said that Pakistan's military is holding back counter-terrorism cooperation with the United States while continuing to go easy on terrorist groups based in the country. While addressing the Senate Intelligence Committee recently, Coats said that despite Washington's request to do more, the Pakistan military is only trying to appear tougher against the Taliban and Haqqani terrorists. He said actions taken so far do not reflect a significant escalation of pressure against these groups and are unlikely to have a lasting effect.
Complicating the Afghanistan situation, however, is our assessment that Pakistan-based militant groups continue to take advantage of their safe haven to conduct attacks in India, in Afghanistan, including U.S. interests therein.
The remarks come amid Pakistan's ongoing strains in the ties with the US and Afghanistan. The US last month announced suspension of all security aid to Islamabad, blaming it for harboring militants on its soil. Pakistan has maintained it has sacrificed a lot in the fight against terrorism and is being used as a scapegoat by the US for its failures in Afghanistan.
Moving on, a protest was recently held by the Pashtun community in Canada to highlight the ethnic persecution and ongoing gross human rights violations by Pakistan. The alleged innocent Pashtuns are being subjected to torture, enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings by Pakistani authorities.
An anti-Pakistan protest was held by the Pashtun community in Canada's Toronto city over gross human rights violations committed by Pakistan. The demonstrators highlighted the issue of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings of innocent persons from the Pashtun community by the Pakistani authorities. Calling Pakistan a terror state, the protesters demanded the international community to provide justice to the oppressed ethnic Pashtun people.
We, the Pashtun community living in Canada, we express our concern over the growing incidents of extrajudicial killing of Pashtuns in Pakistan and demand that a judicial commission headed by the Chief Justice be formed to investigate all extrajudicial killings of Pashtuns in Karachi, Swat, Waziristan, Balochistan, and other parts of the country.
The Pashtuns have for long accused that Pakistan Army functions along with militant groups in the region and indiscriminately uses force against innocent people in the region. They claim attempts to highlight the situation have long been repressed.
In news from Afghanistan, women in Afghanistan have always been fighting for their rights and are not considered equal to men in the partially conservative country. With the rising awareness and fighting spirit, women in Afghan capital Kabul on Wednesday expressed their support to a global movement which works for their rights.
Women in Afghan capital Kabul on Wednesday expressed their support to a global movement called 1 Billion Rising, which focuses on the fight against exploitation of women. The campaign focuses on bringing millions of women together around the world to raise their voices against rape and sexual violence against them. The initiative, organized by a non-governmental organization, was also joined by some women's rights activists.
مقاومت و اتحاد ما خواهان توجه جدی حکومت وحدت ملی و شرکای بین المللی برای حمایت جدی از نهادهایی که برای زنان متضرر خشونت‌ها فعالیت می‌نمایند هستیم. همچنان مانند گذشته ما بالای از بین بردن هر نوع تبعیض و خشونت علیه زنان در محلات کار تاکید می‌نماییم.
Participants at the gathering expressed deep concerns over what they described as a lack of access to justice for Afghan women. 1 Billion Rising is a global movement which focuses exactly on the same concerns and expands each year. In 2016, the theme of the campaign was Rise for Revolution.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal's CPN-UML party chief KP Sharma Oli on Thursday became the Prime Minister of the Himalayan nation as Left Alliance comprising of CPN Maoist Centre and his party routed the ruling Nepali Congress in the country's historic parliamentary and local polls.
Nepal CPN-UML party chairman KP Sharma Oli on Thursday became the Himalayan nation's 41st Prime Minister over 2 months after his Left Alliance won over the country's historic parliamentary and provincial polls. 65-year-old Oli had earlier also served as the country's Prime Minister from October 2015 to August 2016. Earlier in the day, former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deba addressed the nation and submitted his resignation to the President. The Left Alliance comprising of CPN-UML and CPN Maoist Centre had together secured 174 seats in the 275-member parliament in the historic polls in December. With such secured majority, the leaders of the ally parties are likely to take turns in leading the government. Chairman of the CPN Maoist Centre, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, would later become the country's next Prime Minister after Oli's turn.
Scores of devotees thronged at a seashore in India's southern Rameswaram city on Thursday. Devotees took holy dip and offered prayers on No Moon Day after the festival of Mahashivratri.
Hundreds of Hindu devotees gathered at the seashore in India's southern Rameshwaram city on Thursday to take a holy dip on No Moon Day after the Hindu festival of Mahashivratri. Amavasya or No Moon Day is considered auspicious for taking bath in rivers, sea and other water bodies as it brings prosperity and can help attain salvation. Devotees were seen performing rituals and seeking blessings to mark the auspicious occasion.
சிவபெருமானுக்கு மிகவும் உகந்த காசி ராமேஸ்வர தலத்திலே முன்னோர்களை வழிபடுவது மிகச்சிறந்த குடும்பத்துக்கு நன்மை செய்வதாகும். இந்த ராமேஸ்வர புண்ணியத்தலத்திலே சிவராத்திரி அமாவாசை புண்ணிய காலத்திலே முன்னோர்களுக்கு தர்ப்பணம் கொடுத்து பிண்டதானம் செய்து வழிபடுவது மிகச்சிறந்தது. அங்கேருந்து வந்து கடலில் குளிச்சுட்டு திதி கொடுத்துட்டு சாமி தரிசனம் பார்த்துட்டு
Mahashivratri marks the wedding anniversary of Hindu god of destruction Lord Shiva with his consort Parvati. It is celebrated just before the arrival of spring season in the month of February or March.
Locals and tourists flocked India's northern Leh region to witness an annual Buddhist festival on Wednesday. The festival is celebrated to promote peace and harmony.
Locals and tourists flocked to North Indian mountainous desert town of Leh to celebrate the colorful Buddhist festival Dos Moche on Wednesday. The two-day annual festival is celebrated in February every year in the courtyard of Leh Palace to mark the termination of evil. During the festival, monks played music and performed the famous Pashtuns and other forms of traditional Tibetan art forms. Monks of Tatok Monastery prepared offerings to bind evil, hungry cause and protect humanity from natural disasters during the upcoming year.
इसमें जो ट्रेडिशन एंड आपके जो रिचुअल्स है उसमें इतना डेडिकेटेड वे में उनके जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है, उनके जो डांस फॉर्म है और सिंक्रोनाइजेशन है आपके आप में, और जो ऑडियंस है वो इतना पीसफुली पेशेंटली ये सारी चीज़ देखते हैं विथ टूरिस्ट, हमारे लिए इतने एक बहुत बड़ा मायने रखता है।
स्पेसिफिकली हम लोग इस बार 13 और 14 को ये जो लेह में जो फेस्टिवल हो रहा है दोस मोचे के लिए हम लोग आए। हमने 2015 में यहाँ पे स्पितुक के अंदर देखा था, तो वहाँ पे जो मास डांस देखा था वही हम देखने के लिए आज यहाँ पर भी पहुँचे। बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, ये लाइफ टाइम एक्सपीरियंस था।
Tourists from across the world, from explorers and strollers to photographers, come here to explore the raw beauty of the Himalayan desert and witness the famous Pashtuns, which is the key attraction of the festival. The festival is celebrated at the start of Tibetan New Year every February.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister Modi launches key projects, addresses public in northeastern India. Pakistan still not cracking down on militants, says US intelligence chief. And KP Sharma Oli becomes Nepal's Prime Minister for second time. Now our viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.